Alrighty. I believe we have started the stream. We should get it's saying starting. It's the orange light again. This is very typical. Here we go. We are live and elapsed time is 1 second. Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of the State of the BeansTalk. Yes, that's how I say it. It's Pat here from Techman Pat, and we have Casper from Game with Casper. So as always, let's have a look at what we've been up to this whole week. There's been a lot happening, and we've got a lot of good news for you today. Not good news, it's just good topics, and they are news. So welcome, Casper. How was your week this week? Oh. Yeah, I think it's 1,000 for, I think it was 1,200 for traveling with somebody in the car when you were supposed to be apart. Like you're supposed to actually sit in the front seat and then somebody like adjacent you, like in the back, to have that 1.5 meters. But I don't know how that would work if you've got a two-seater car. Oh, absolutely. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. And just to confirm, can everybody hear us? Because I'm wondering maybe somebody cannot. Let me just check that because I think we're losing audio on one area. Casper, can you just say something now?
Hey guys, how's it going? Can you hear me clearly?
I think they can
Oh, there's
hear
no
you now.
sound from Casper.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no.
Okay, so I think we fixed that, Casper.
Oh, cool.
Let's try that again. So you went to an interview. Tell us about that journey again.
Yeah, all right. So I was going to an interview out in the east here in WA, and I had to go through one of these police checkpoints. So as you can imagine, I was near pooping my pants. But thankfully, I had an interview confirmation printout, and I got
Yeah.
through there no problem. And these
No
guys,
questions
there was
asked?
so many cops.
Oh wow,
Sorry,
okay.
what?
No questions asked? Like they didn't.
No, they did. It felt like a mild interrogation, sweating up a storm. But yeah, no, they let me through. They just want to make sure that wherever everyone is going, that they're going with purpose. Minimize movement as they should. So yeah, well done, Western Australia Police, for your thorough work.
Yeah, WA's been WA's been doing really well. We've had no cases for a while now, and even the Premier, Mark McGowan, has been really like praised by the public to say how good he's been doing. So I'm really impressed with the way they've handled it here in Western Australia. So on my side, I have been recovering from my bike crash. I am better now. We didn't really talk about it last stream, but basically, I was riding, took a turn, and my front wheel gave way. The tire sort of deflated right that instant, and I just crashed on the left and kept going, sliding with the bike because I've got my the feet were kind of locked in, and unfortunately I scraped my whole side. That's not the biggest problem, is the shoulder. So I wasn't able to move my shoulder very well, but it's back now, and I took a 30K ride yesterday, and I feel really good. It was a bit painful while riding, but I think it's okay now. So we're back to it now. Let's get into the topics. I think of this show because last time we just chatted on and went through two topics. Or was it one?
Oh,
I think we only
are
went.
you gonna do the intro thing?
I will do the intro, but let's do the topics and then we'll
Okay,
do the
okay,
intro. So,
cool.
Casper, what have you got for us today?
All right, so I figure I'd chat briefly about the Summer Game Fest, which I believe the Inside Xbox kind of ties into that as well, which we got the privilege to experience this week. So that's probably going to be the main event, and just want to touch on some bits and pieces of various games that are releasing, that are bound to release, and the development, I guess, within these games too.
Awesome. And on our side, you might have seen our late night stream, very late night. So I'm hoping that we're starting this early. More people will be alive and awake. We went to have a look at the Xbox event where they're supposed to show gameplay. And after having a bit of a sleep on it, I realized we didn't really see any gameplay for anything. At the time, we were disappointed that Valhalla didn't have any gameplay, but so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the games that came out that day. If you have missed it, stay tuned, you'll find out. And we've got some news about Tom Cruise and space.
Hey, Mission
And
Impossible Space Edition.
is it going to be a Mission Impossible? Oh, let's get to it in a second.
Never
We've
know.
got Sony's VR news about that and rumors. We've got news about Star Wars, but not the Star Wars that you think. This one here, the Mandalorian news, and that's it. So let's get into it. Let's play the intro, and we'll see you guys in about. Oh, and we're back.
Hello.
I still love that. I just if everybody was wondering, we made that quite a while ago. We wanted to do a show like this for a long time, but we never really got into it. But now with the whole Corona thing, we're able to sort of stream from our own homes, and it just made sense. But ultimately, that song, that music was made by Casper. So if you guys ever want to see some more music, he's got more on his channel. Just pointing it out. Are you still playing any of this like music stuff? Oh, I think we've lost Casper. Yeah, he's gone offline. All right, I wonder if that's me. No, it doesn't look like it's me. I'm still streaming. So we'll wait until he comes back and I'll message him. But we can probably hang on. You have lost connection. Second show and we've got difficulties, but that's okay. Did we have intro with GTA 5? No, I don't think it was. I think it was like a couple of videos from. Oh, we took it from a lot of things. So there's that music thing, whatever it's called, the I don't know what the American one was called, American Idol, and then we had the video from the movie Dark Knight. One of my favorite movies of all time. So that was really cool. And the editing just took hours on end. And actually, we've got one of the guys who helped us do that here today. If you guys want to check out his channel, so that's Kvashnik Pictures down there in the chat. If you guys want to check out his channel, he does amazing videos and obviously something much better than us that we could put together. But he helped put that together, gave us a lot of ideas and help in setting up in Premiere. I learned a lot that day, which was good. And he actually did our wedding video, not me and Casper's, but my wife and I. So if you guys want to see some awesome stuff there. So before Casper gets back, I want to talk about Star Wars, and I'll just shoot to the other screen. I'm sure he'll reconnect in a second. I'll just tell him to restart. Hang on, I might have to invite him again. So where is the thing here? So stop there. And I have to rejoin it again. So, oh God, this is why technology sucks sometimes. And it actually was a website. So we're using Hangouts to call each other, which is supposed to help with, latency because it's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. And it's a web page. Like it's not even an app that gets installed or anything. And then it crashes. So how does a web page crash? That's what really weirds me out. Oh, there you go. There's a screenshot of what it looked like as an error. So he'll connect in a moment. I've just sent him the message and I'll just set this stream up again. Where is that? Frame Casper's face. Trying to, what's it called? Solve problems on the go.
I can hear you.
There we go. He's back. Welcome back. I had
Hey,
to, I had
I've
to
got
hold the
sound,
show.
just no image.
Oh, no image. All right, I'll send you image now. Wow.
Dang.
We set this all, by the way, everybody. We were ready half an hour before. Everything was good to go. And Casper, this is your fault.
Yeah, that's the excuse we'll go with. We were ready.
So I'll just share my screen now to you. There you go. So what was I going to start with? I was going to start with the Star Wars one because it was a topic I could probably talk about by myself. But since we have
Star Wars. Man, where was I? How long was I gone?
it's the Mandalorian news, so we just flick to it.
Oh,
So
right, yeah.
Boba Fett is coming back for Mandalorian season two. What do
Woohoo.
you think of that?
Oh, bro, so excited, except I still haven't finished the first season of The Mandalorian. I think I was like in the first few episodes,
Oh wow,
very impressed because of how much money is just put into that TV show. Like the TV show just screams money when you watch it.
it
You can
does, doesn't
tell
it?
it's the production value is like top tier. We're talking like Hollywood movies. So excited, but I still need to finish the first season. No spoilers, please.
No, so I wasn't going to talk about spoilers. I just wanted to share this news because I think it's really nice. I suppose it's nice, but it's also money making scheme, obviously, that Disney is going to include more characters from the Star Wars universe into their TV shows. Now, I know you haven't finished Mandalorian. There's nothing, to be honest, nothing at the end happens that's anything different. It was, to be honest, it was a show about nothing. A
Oh
show
wow.
about nothing at
My
all. So
favorite kind of show.
so they spent millions, and the episodes were short. They're only 30 minutes or 40 minutes sometimes, but it was absolutely enjoyable. So it's so much better than the last two Star Wars movies, that's for sure. And so we've got this now here that there's going to be more characters that we recognize that are joining the Mandalorian universe, and I think that's a little bit. It's a little bit unique. It's it's a little bit weird, I think, because the Mandalorian has been very much existing in its own little bubble away from like the Star Wars universe. Do you know what I mean? Like the characters that we all come
Yeah.
to love over the last 30 years. When was the first one? 80, 79,
Oh,
78,
oh, yeah, yes, yeah,
77?
77, very first Star Wars, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty. I'd like to keep it separate because I think that's what makes it good. Once you start adding all these characters that are from the other things, I think it makes it as special as the Mandalorian is. It's just, I mean, okay, we've got little child. That's quite weird, but we haven't been explained what it is, how it all works. So I'm hoping that they don't introduce too much and make it all sort of cross over yet, but I think they will because what they'll want is people to subscribe to Disney Plus, so they have to be watching Disney Plus to then know what's happening in the wider Star Wars, universe. And was it Tiki Waititi? Who's the guy who directed Thor? He's doing the next Star Wars movie.
Oh, is he? No way!
Yeah, so
Well,
that's
good
been
on him.
announced. Yeah, he's doing well. He's a fellow Kiwi,
Yeah,
which is
that
good.
guy's doing so well.
Absolutely. So any other thoughts on that? I mean, it's pretty cool, but
Star
I
Wars?
just
Oh,
yeah.
man, yeah, no, it's super cool. I guess the latest Star Wars thing that I watched was the last, Star Wars movie with the Skywalker saga. Which I thought was cool, man. So many mixed reviews on that.
Yeah.
There was so many mixed opinions on it. I think maybe our expectations were so high, and because there was felt like there was a little bit of an inconsistency between the last two movies, like
Two
the
different
last two
directors.
movies before the last one. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, two completely different directors, but they managed to kind of wrap it up somehow, then just fit it in, which I loved it. I liked it. I liked the whole Kylo Ren story. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Kylo Ren wasn't.
But
Yeah, Kylo Ren's story wasn't too bad. So
mm,
I think that'll be all right. Okay, well look, let us know below, you guys, if you have any other topics you want to discuss. While we move on to the next one, if we find something that you guys want to talk about. But I think that's it for the Star Wars stuff. Shall we go to Summer Game Fest?
cool,
Because
man.
I'm
All right,
really keen
so
to find out about that. So let me flick through to that one. What is?
yeah.
Tell us what it is.
So the Summer Game Fest, so it's pretty much like a compilation of gaming events that we're going to have instead of the usual E3, the Game Awards that we have. Actually, the Summer Game Fest is run by the same guy that does the Game Awards, which is Jeff Keighley, right? So he's a big star, big celebrity in that era. Um,
What
and
does he do?
so,
Is he
what does he do?
yeah.
I mean, I guess he's a big honcho in terms of like getting all these um, gaming platforms, gaming companies together all in one place. So he seems to be, wheeling and dealing all the time
Right.
and getting some big names into the Game Awards. I mean, we've got like, Warner Brother Games that comes in like every December, pretty much November, December when they have the Game Awards. And so what he's doing is he's compiling a whole bunch of events that are going to be
Mhm,
happening
mhm.
throughout from May all the way through to August. And the first one that we just recently experienced was the Inside Xbox, which happened on the 7th of May, where we got a bit of a first look at the Xbox Series X gameplay, or so we were promised that we
We'll
were
talk
going
about that in
to,
a
but
second because
yeah,
that's
we'll dive a bit deeper into that. And then as we move on to the July, we're gonna have the Steam Game Festival.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool because for all you PC gamers, there's gonna be a lot of upcoming PC games on Steam. And then following on straight from that is gonna be the Night City Wire. So that's going to be an exclusive event based on Cyberpunk 2077, which we know is going to be a huge, huge game that's going to be released September.
So is that gonna be like
And
an actual gameplay or it's gonna be some sort of
I
theme
think
event or
so.
like a party with people, like live people or all digital? This is all digital, right?
Yeah, it's all digital. I believe we're probably gonna get like a series of like episodes. Maybe they're gonna do some sort of like a really cool short bursts of I don't know, kind of like set in the cyberpunk theme kind of
Yeah, right.
style. And I think we're gonna get some gameplay. Knowing CD Projekt Red, they are going to deliver.
Yeah.
And then it looks like we've got EA Play Live on the very same day as that.
EA
Um,
Games.
which means that maybe Night City might get pushed, just so they can spread it out a little bit more. Then in
Do we
July,
really
we've
care
got
about
the
EA though? Because this sounds like it's gonna be sports games. No,
yeah, no,
look,
I
don't
know
get
it's
me
gonna be
wrong.
like Madden and NBA and all of
Yeah.
that all over again.
That's an expensive
There,
spot, I bet. EA probably has like put a lot of stuff there, like a lot of money into being in that spot.
yeah, no, exactly, so true, so true. They
Yeah.
pretty much, they have a big chunk of the market share, that's for sure. Then we've got TennoCon 2020 in July, digital extremes updates, Warframe players. So I don't know much about that. I don't know if that's going to be a huge event. And then in August, we've got the Gamescom, which, this is the be all and end all of the gaming industry. Like, this is
Right.
huge. Like, Gamescom is huge, which is why Jeff Keighley is teaming up with Gamescom to host it.
Hmm.
This is the biggest event that we usually have, and I believe it's in Berlin, Germany,
And
if
this is
I'm
going to
right.
be fully on off like online, right? Or is this going to be
This is
an
gonna
event with
be
people?
yeah, it's gonna be online. So this is gonna be
Mm,
huge. We're gonna have basically any gaming company that you can think of, like the huge
yeah.
publishers are gonna get together and they're gonna be hosting a whole bunch of new trailers, new games, and the one that I'm particularly excited for is what Warner Brothers is cooking up, which is most likely the upcoming new Batman game. There's
Ooh,
been
a new
yes, yeah.
Batman
I mean,
game. Oh,
have you
okay.
played the most recent Batman games, Pat?
No, I played the first one that came out on PlayStation 3 or 2. Oh, hey, Hasim, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We just
Oh
got a
wow, thanks,
donation in the
Nassim.
box there. Basically, the last one I played was the one that was a long time ago. I enjoyed it, and then I played the most recent one in the prison that was there. So I think, look, I never finished it. I really liked it. I liked the atmosphere, but it didn't make me come back more. Like I played it by forcing myself to play it. So I'm coming into this with a bit of like, I didn't really like the last one. I didn't like the city one, like the sort of more open one either. So I'm coming into this kind of going, yeah, oh, not really.
Yeah, feeling a little bit skeptical about
Yeah,
the latest
skeptical.
release.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, it's fair enough. And seeing some of the leaks that have been coming out, they're saying that it's going to be a bit of a co-op experience, or it's going to have the opportunity to, because they want to bring in the whole Bat family from DC. So that should be cool. You know, you could play, I don't know, Robin, Batgirl, Batman, Batwoman, you know, the combination. And it's going to be based on, we have very good insight that it's going to be based on the Court of Owls
Hmm.
storyline. It's just, you know, it's one of the probably the biggest storylines or the most impactful ones in the last decade, I want to say.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so it'll be exciting if that's the case.
And just to let everybody know, Casper is the comic book expert. That's why I'm staying really quiet here because he knows a whole lot more than me about the Marvel DC universe. Do you want to just give him a little bit of a background on about your comic book sort of resale sale thing that you used to do? I don't know if do you still do that?
Oh, yeah, flipping comic books back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I used to. I think I stopped in the last year or two. So
Oh, okay.
because I had a good grasp of the market of, you know, what's hot, what's not, you know, you've got your first various encounters in comic books. Those are the things you need to watch out for as
Hmm. Hmm.
big comic book nerd, you know, followed some of the major, you know, storylines and DC, Marvel, all of that. So actually, when Marvel and DC started to really up their game and
Yeah.
release some of these movies that we're seeing today, it got me so excited that the fact that all these things that we were imagining, that we were reading back in the day, you know, when we were a lot younger,
Hmm.
it's actually
Hmm.
possible now with the budget that Hollywood has, with the technology that they
Yeah.
have, they can bring these fantasies to life. So yeah, I used to flip comic books for quite a while. You know, I used to buy them off eBay, fly them over here to Australia, and then you know, flip it.
Resell them. Yeah.
Yeah, resell them. I mean, actually buy them from all over the world, and eBay. You know, whether it's UK, the US, even Mexico sometimes. So yeah, fun times.
Cool. All right. Well, let's like I'm really excited for Gamescom. And I suppose yeah, it's going to be good. So let's jump into the next one. Let's talk about Sony. Sony PlayStation. Actually, you know
Sony.
what? Like, you know what? Before we go into Sony, let's do Xbox
Yeah,
because we touched upon it a little before, and
yeah.
let's jump to the Xbox thing. So we covered the Xbox event 2 nights ago. We stayed up really late, 11 o'clock at Western Australian time, and we stayed up. And I felt a little bit disappointed. I don't know about you. I was really excited to see these games, but I think I was a little bit sort of overwhelmed with all this action and visuals to realize that none of it was actually gameplay. Now, the whole event was touted as a gameplay event. We were expecting gameplay, and even when they were going to show Valhalla, they said gameplay. The creator of Valhalla, also I suppose the director, the creative director, did tweet out and say, "Hey guys, join us for the Xbox event. You're going to get to see live gameplay of Valhalla." He said that in a tweet, and then he retweeted. It was just like, oh, it's just a taste. So we noticed that right on when we were watching. There was no Valhalla gameplay, but thinking back after the night, we really didn't see any gameplay for any game. There was just a lot of what you would call video rendered to look like you're playing a game. Even the first one, I thought it was very much gameplay, but it was still a video. So, a lot of people are upset. Let's have a look at one of the videos here. This is the actual announcement video. I haven't
Yeah,
pressed
we
play
got
or
a
anything.
comment from Yellow below as well. He's saying, yeah, that's getting a lot of hate because there was little gameplay. And that is exactly how the crowd felt in the comment section of Microsoft, that's for sure.
Absolutely. This is the video for the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. As you can see here, 17K dislikes and 25K likes. That's not bad, but this is the worldwide one. But if I go to the North American video, I'm not going to sign in because apparently it's R18. You can see here
Oh,
39K to 21K. So we're not really getting the full picture here because what they try to do on YouTube is they split all these like videos and into regions. So we never really get a full picture of what the whole world thinks about this event. Because at the end of the day, Australia is quite big, New Zealand's quite big, the English-speaking world, UK, South Africa, they all enjoy this sort of stuff and they all get involved. But we only ever see a very small portion of the results because each region is only given their little bit. So that's why I wanted to search up Ubisoft North America to show you that it's even worse in the US, where most of this is happening. It was live there and it was all I guess advertised over there. So that's looking pretty bad. And then I believe the video, and we've got the games here in a second, but the video for the Xbox reveal actually got taken down and then re-uploaded, and it still got spammed with a whole bunch of dislikes. So what do you reckon? Should they have advertised it as gameplay if it wasn't going to show gameplay?
Look, I did hear some other debates on the other channels about that. I mean, maybe because of the fact that it was just all cut up and in engine or in gameplay, what we got to see. But we didn't really get to see the HUD. We didn't really get to see that experience of an actual player playing the game with all the on-screen visuals that you would normally have, or just a
Hmm.
human being really driving the experience. So I'm gonna say no. We did not see the gameplay. We got bamboozled, big time, and I think this is why people were so upset. It's because they felt that, the expectations were hyped up, they were built up,
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
we got lied
Absolutely.
to. We had something, in our minds that which didn't come to fruition at the end of the day, so it was a big letdown. Uh, Amongst the reveals, though, there was one which I am quite excited for. I
Let's
think it
go
was
through what
called.
was
Yeah,
revealed
let's
because
go
I've got
through
it on
the
this
list.
list, and I think we're kind of excited about the same one. And guys, let us know in the comments below, or in the chat actually, because it's a live video, what ones you guys are excited for. But obviously, Halo Infinite got sort of shown. It's a reboot of the franchise, and
Wait, did it?
yeah,
Did they show anything?
just a couple of screenshots apparently. I don't know
Ah,
if you
okay,
noticed it
okay.
in the mix, and then it was a comment at the
Right.
end when they were chatting. So I read through this earlier, but
Yeah.
Hellblade 2. What do you reckon? Yay or nay?
Oh, look, this is gonna be a big hit. I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of love for the first game. I don't know if you've played it,
No.
but it's added like, I actually haven't played it, but I've watched reviews, I've heard people talk about it. Some of the unique elements that were brought into it was you play the game as what's believed to be a person that's suffering from, like, a mental illness,
Right.
hearing voices, seeing visions, and all of that, and it's based, prehistoric times.
Yeah.
Um, so it's got some unique elements to it, and people say it's quite overwhelming and slightly disturbing because throughout the whole time as you're playing the game, you are getting these auditory illusions, and you're just
Oh,
like, oh
okay.
man, this is really throwing me off. This is really playing on my mind. So, because of its uniqueness and great storytelling, I think this game's going to do well.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
I think it looked great. So, like, yeah, like I said, I haven't played it, but it looked really fun, like interesting, and I do like a bit of horror. Like I like that sort of where the gameplay gets mixed in with sort of a bit of like a mental anguish. I think that's quite interesting and makes it. I think it brings the story, and I like a good story. Like we talked about this a little while back. I don't finish games very often. Like I play through and go, nah, not good enough, and I just move on quite quickly. So I'd like a game that really drags me, and if I get stuck in till the end, I think it's a good game. And one of my favorite ones a little while back was this Russian one, Singularity, and gameplay was fun. It wasn't the most beautiful looking game, but Singularity had this really cool time shift, mental, sort of psychological story to it, and it just really dragged me in. I guess that's a personal thing, but actually, a comment here got Yellow saying that GTA 6 has been announced in early development. What are your thoughts on that? What city do you reckon? I have a feeling it might be maybe a mix of two cities, like two islands, that they might do like
Yeah.
a dark
y-
sort of New
So
York.
true. You know what? I think they're gonna take it next level. Knowing Rockstar and you know how they really push the boundaries of gaming. When we think Rockstar, we think, oh, this is gonna be huge. This is gonna be uh, densely populated, rich settings. I think they're gonna go for continents. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
go all out, and you'll be able to travel maybe to 2 or 3 different countries.
Oh, you
You know,
reckon?
I reckon they're gonna go next level on this thing, and because we're running on SSDs, we got the fast, big hard well, not
Yeah.
big, but fast hard drives. We'll be able to generate some huge, worlds within gaming, so I think it's probably gonna be impressive in
Yeah.
terms of its scope, but maybe not so much with its visual fidelity.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm
Right.
thinking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess on new hardware you can do it a little bit better. Maybe you can do it more
Mm.
efficiently. I think the idea might be that you can create these bigger cities, these bigger, I guess, space, and still have high frames and good visuals. I think that's probably where we're going to head with the GTA series. Casper, can you flick me the link to this to the stream? I'm going to tweet it out because I forgot to do that at the start,
Oh yeah, hold
and
on.
so on. What I was going to say about GTA is it came to PC a little bit late, which was unfortunate. Do you remember that? It was like same with Red Dead Redemption 2. Like it was released on PC much later, so it went to the consoles first. So it's designed for consoles first. And now looking at, and as Matt just mentioned here, that the next gen consoles, their graphic fidelity is miles above, especially on the exclusives, like you said there, Matt. You're quite right. Any new game that's going to come out directly on those platforms, those systems, is going to be quite, above, like a level above. So you're going to expect good quality visuals, but I
Mm.
I don't think I think at some point visuals aren't everything. Like it's one of those things where you go, okay, if the visuals are great, then how the like if you need pretty visuals, why are there games that look like crap and are selling better? Like I know this is the
I
bad
mean,
example, but
Minecraft,
I was
biggest
just
selling game of all time, right?
yeah, I was just about to say Minecraft. It is a little bit about gameplay. So I think if they can really tick that box, I don't think people will care as much of how it looks. Like GTA, the last GTA didn't look that great anyway. It was PS3, I think it came out on, right? That was the generation it came out, and then PlayStation 4 and whatnot. So am I thinking that right? GTA came out. Yeah, I think so.
GTA
I'm sure
5
you're.
was a cross gen
Oh,
between 3 and 4, wasn't it?
yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yes. Oh
And
my God, that came out on PS3.
that was a long time ago. All right.
Oh,
Well, look, let's go on to the next one. We've got. Oh, look, I don't know if I want to talk about more about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Valhalla. Oh,
We
poor
didn't get
Valhalla.
we didn't get to see anything. We didn't get to see any gameplay,
No.
and that's unfortunate. So let's move on.
Yeah, let's bury the
um,
hatchet on that one.
Scorn. How about that? What do you reckon? I
Well,
reckon it
Scorn's
looked
been
really
in
good.
development for a while. We have seen footage, we have seen um, uh, gameplay of it for quite a bit of time, and it's creepy, it's weird, it's gross, but it's unique. And it's like you mentioned, it might not be all about the visuals, but it's
Yeah.
doing something different. It's pushing the boundaries of experimentation, uniqueness. I think what you're playing like an as an alien or something like that, right?
Well, it says here reasons to buy non-linear exploration of an alien world. So
Mm,
yes, I think you won't be you'll be playing a humanoid of some sorts, but not necessarily human, which is
yeah.
cool. I don't mind when you play something different than a human. I mean, I'm sure we all get a little bit bored of that, so it'd be interesting to play something different that can do different things.
Yeah.
One thing that says here, it says, like nothing you've seen before. I don't like when people say stuff like that. It's like, this is the best burger you'll ever have. It's like, how do you know? How do you know I haven't seen this before? Maybe I read a book one day that you guys copied that idea from. You don't know. You can't tell me that I've never seen this before. Like, I might have had a burger that was better than this before. I don't like it. I don't
Yeah.
like that sort of marketing,
Marketing
especially
101. It's like when you walk past a burger joint and they're like, best burger ever. It's like, are you
yeah.
sure?
Yeah, who gave you who gave you the
Yeah,
right
that's what
to
your
say
neighbor's
that?
saying as well. Yeah,
So
I mean, disturbing content, that's well described. It's in the writing right there in that article, and that's how I felt about the what we saw. It was gross. It was weird. It was like, what was he plugging into? Like a burst
he
blood vessel or something. It
yeah,
was
that
just
little
really weird.
yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of weird
Yeah,
things
so
involved.
xenomorphs and goo and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's gonna be a game for me,
Yeah,
but I definitely a plus one for going outside and being unique with the
absolutely.
formulas, mixing it up a little bit, you
Yeah,
know?
no, I'm gonna have a look, and if I like it, I might buy it. I'm thinking of having to get an Xbox to do a review on it, and obviously,
Yeah,
you're gonna be getting PS5, so I'm sure we'll play that together at some
for
point.
sure.
It says it's a passion project for 6 years in development, so that's interesting. If it's been that long, I mean, passion projects. As far as passion projects go, I think when somebody pours their heart and soul into a passion project, and that's what I guess it's really saying, then I think it's going to be different than most games, because most people don't necessarily put that much effort. It's just going to be a standard game. It's going to break the mold some way. So it's on its way there. Madden 21. Can you guys let us know in the links if anybody has a liking towards Madden? We can talk about it, but I think we're probably not the best people to talk about it.
Yeah, let's be honest. Does anybody care? That's what Patrick's trying to say.
So, in a nice way, of course, right? I'm trying to
Yeah.
say it in a nice way.
No, I
But
mean, look, these games are amazing, right?
yeah,
Like the attention to detail, the players, the everything about it is great. It's just because there's small iterations in each and every single year we get a new release, I want to say. Yeah. I think the formula gets a bit stale. It gets a bit old, and it's just something in the background with a
mm.
brand new number. But, amazing game design, amazing game development, great visuals, all that jazz.
Do you
It's
think
just
it?
nothing new.
Do you think it's worth it to sell? I mean, sorry, it's worth it for EA, but for somebody who's, let's say, got Madden 20, is $60 going to be the price they should pay for the next iteration with what do we got? Smart delivery enabled. Okay, that's fine. Realistic in-game graphics and next level physics. Like, is that because it's going to be the same teams, right? It's going to be the same players. Not much has changed in a year, from my understanding, in Madden or well, in American football.
You know who I think this is catered for, the Madden? I
Mm.
think this is for people who are just in love with the sport,
Yep.
fanatics, people who follow it, who follow the players. And perhaps year to year, there's a new season. There'll be some new players that come on. There'll be some players that actually retire, no longer play. And I think it's for those people that are just so entrenched, the guys that are
Yeah.
religiously watching the stuff. This is the game for them. They're big fans. They love it. They have their own community. They have their own what are those teams called where they have the imaginary football teams or the
Um.
um what's that called?
I was gonna say imaginary football, but it's something
Fantasy
else.
football.
Fantasy football. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, very
fantasy
well.
football. Yeah, I feel like it's for those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
look, and at the end of the day, that's it. But you know what? Actually, I've heard, I read about football, when not football, not American football, but just soccer, right? That people play like when they play like a live tournament within the game, people bet on it, and actually like it sort of goes further than just the game. That people put real money
Mhm.
on things. Yeah, so probably quite popular to watch. Like imagine having two AIs that have been brought up by trained and whatnot by two players and then playing. So also real people during the COVID sort of lockdown in America played a couple of, I know F1 racing, for example, they played around online in the game rather than actually go out and race on the street or the track. So that's something which is I think pretty cool that they used a game to kind of continue their competition. Uh,
That is cool,
oh,
man.
this one you'll probably have more to say. The Yakuza, the new game.
Yeah, look, I'm a little bit excited for this.
Yep.
I've dabbled a little bit in the Yakuza games. I played Yakuza 0, and I think maybe Yakuza 4 or 5. I like these games because the map you're in is
Hmm.
small. Okay, you compare it to like a GTA 5 where you have, multiple islands. This is just a single city. You're in a city, so you can
Yeah.
run from one end to the other in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, right? Tops. But there's just so much to do. You can walk into almost any building. You can do so many little mini games and
Mm.
quests and things like that. There's a lot of stuff to do. So they really pack it all into one. And
That's
what's great is, you do very little traveling because everything is so close to one another. But it's
So you don't
also
get that
interactive.
boredom of like having to go here, do this. You kind of just like go and do it rather than having to spend all that time traveling. Would
Correct.
you say?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
okay.
feel like that. Yeah, the travel time is definitely cut out in this game. And Yakuza games, the story comes first. That's
Oh,
where
okay.
these games really shine. They are brilliant for the storytelling. They do, dark, noir, gripping stories of mafia and betrayal and love and trust and all that kind of stuff. Uh, but they also get silly with it. So they have these tones of seriousness and this tones of insanity at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is pretty much why I'm excited for it. The one downside is they're changing up the formula. It's no longer going to be the usual combat that we're used to in games where you actually run around, you
Yeah,
punch, you
yeah.
do some combos and stuff like that. Now it's going to be turn-based.
Right, and that's
Turn-based.
like recently. What was the game that I was talking to you about? That was the dragon one. What's it called? Oh God, not dragon. The turn-based game.
The Divinity 2?
Divinity 2,
What is
yes.
it?
So Divinity 2, when I remember a couple of years ago
Yep.
when we sat down and played it together, I didn't like it. I didn't like that sort of style of combat. I really didn't. And I really liked something like Dragon Age, where you sort of do all the movements at the same time as you play. I found it more engaging. And I didn't realize after, what was it, 12 months, where I picked up the game again and said, hey, I should probably give it a go, because I had nothing else to do. I think I was on a trip somewhere. I had my laptop with me, so I thought I'd take a game that you could sort of play on the laptop, because you can just click away. And I got so absorbed in the thinking part of the game, where you have to put some spells together, make sure you use the right spells on the right enemies, motion your people in certain directions, maybe even do some tricky stuff by blowing up some things to put fire on other enemies and so on. And that solidified that kind of gameplay for me, that I was like, oh wow, I actually really like this. I really enjoyed it. Do you think that in this setting, because obviously Divinity had a specific setting, it's like D&D, it's like Dungeons and Dragons almost, right? Do you think a setting like this is going to encapsulate people? Because there's been some unhappy people about this move.
I think, yes, I think because of the change, people were used to a set formula.
Hmm.
And what it might do is it might bring some new people into the fold. And if it's executed well with the turn-based approach, it might actually people might actually warm up to it. It's very
Okay.
different. It's no longer the hand-eye coordination like you mentioned in games that we're used to in like a FPS or like a fighting game, but now it's more of a strategy. Okay, I'm not going to use my skills as much. I'm going to use my
Hmm.
tactics,
Hmm.
you know. So
Yeah,
who
fair
knows?
point.
Yeah,
All
could
right. Well,
could
well
could be next.
I guess, are you going to get it? Yes or no?
I'll wait till the reviews come out.
Oh, good on you. Good on you. But, I was going to
Yeah,
say, maybe you can do a review on your channel to show, showcase and
yeah.
tell people
Boost
if they
some
should get
sales
it.
for Yakuza.
Yeah.
Got your back, Sega.
Do we need to talk about a car game, Dirt 5? Who likes,
Uh,
let us know below if you guys like car games, because my favorite, Need for Speed, the recent one was great. I really enjoyed that one.
Need for Speed
Um,
Heat, yeah.
Yep. And there was another one actually before that. It was a remake of the Most Wonder remake. Loved
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Really good. And obviously, I actually got it on the consoles instead. I didn't get it on the computer. And there was another one, just Need for Speed. I really liked that. It was like Need for Speed One Underground 1 and 2 remake almost. I really enjoyed that one. That one was really fun. But I played Dirt 2 a long time ago, many years ago, and I'm just gonna say it. I found it a little bit boring, because it was just it's just you. Like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. And what was the one we played? We played Forza. That was good. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Forza.
Yeah, Forza's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, they shake up the formula a little bit, and I think there's just so much to do in those games. So many vehicles to choose from. You got hundreds, and you get to
yeah.
drive around like actual, real, I guess, recreations of certain environments. So it's pretty cool, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's gonna be a stylish off-road racing game. That's the reasons to buy, and it's gonna look pretty. Look,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's gonna look great. But probably not gonna be not the market for me, right? Um,
Yeah.
this Second Extinction. Now, during our stream, I was screaming at the bloody screen that it was going to be a Turok remake. I miss Turok. I absolutely miss it, and to be honest, I'd love a remake. And it looked like it was going to be Turok, but it's not. So, Second
Gave you
Extinction.
Turok vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about it, or Turok? What is it about that you enjoyed?
So
Why these games?
yeah, so Turok was one of the first person games I ever played. And I just remember walking around with the bow and hunting these, oh, they, yeah, dinosaurs, right? And I don't know. It's just this weird feeling of being in this open space, and it wasn't open. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't open world. It was quite linear in itself, but it felt
Yeah,
open. And I think it was just so exciting when these things charged at you. Like the excitement of these giant monsters charging at you. I felt very powerful in trying to fight them off and jump around and stuff. So that was what I found, and this was many years ago. I'm really trying to remember here. With this in mind, this second extension does come close, but it's a bit more arcadey because so it's a survival shooter, right? And
yeah.
you're trying to survive all these dinosaurs that are trying to get to you, and it's co-op, which is great. I mean, co-op is a big thing nowadays. I expect a lot more games every time, every year. There's going to be co-op games, like there's no doubt about it. And I really miss the games when we used to have LANs. Remember Battlefield 2, 1942. We used to everybody bring their computers up to the house because nobody had fast internet. You had to bring it all, plug them all in, and you could play on LAN. Nowadays, co-op is the closest you can get, and you have to be, in different houses. Not that during COVID it really changes anything right now, but co-op is a big thing. So I'm
Oh
I'm
no,
kind
you said
of
the C word, man.
what co-op,
Oh no.
COVID.
The other, yeah.
Oh, look, I actually
Oh, the
found out.
cursed word.
I found out that YouTube doesn't care about it anymore. They sent out a
Oh,
press
really?
release. Yeah, they sent out a press. Said, look, if you're talking about COVID during the the pandemic and it's not like conspiracy related, you're not going to get taken down. So we should be fine.
Okay,
But
cool, cool.
anyway,
No
so
FBI bursting through your door.
no, no. Well, yes, hopefully not. Look, I'm kind of gonna. I might give it a go, but there's another game
Mm.
that is co-op that I think both of us are gonna jump on. Let us know in the comments, guys, if second extension is something you'd be looking forward to.
Hey,
Um,
Jurassic Park nostalgia, man.
that's true. Call of the Sea. This was interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
what do we get to see? We got to see like a bit of gameplay where this person was just walking around first person, right? It looked cool, mystical, magical, walking through different types of environments. You can
Yeah.
tell this is going to be one of those games where it's just like storytelling, story-driven adventure game where you just walk around, explore, and it's not a game for me, although I
Hmm,
know
hmm.
these games have evolved so much, and a lot of people keep praising how well these games have come out nowadays. So I don't know. Once again, I'm gonna wait for the reviews. I'm gonna wait for people are saying about these games. I mean, I did play a game that was just story driven, and that
Hmm.
was Heavy Rain.
Oh, of course.
Loved it. That was probably the first proper story driven game that I played from start to finish, and I love that game.
Have you replayed it since?
No, but I do remember playing it, I think, about 3 times, the whole thing, because your decisions change the storyline
Okay.
completely.
Would
You have
you
different endings. Yeah.
would you say a storyline game, and I suppose comparing it to Heavy Rain is a bit hard because they have multiple endings and
Yeah.
multiple decisions that get you there. Do you think a storyline like this, and I'm sure this one will have maybe some into like decisions that you make to get different endings, but do you think a story like this can be replayed multiple times if it does not have like a multiplayer aspect or an open world RPG aspect to it?
I think if it has multiple options, like if your decisions change the events, then yes, there is replayability. I mean, we saw that in the latest installment by the same company who made Heavy Rain, which is
Hmm,
Detroit Become Human.
hmm, hmm.
It's that French company. The name just slips at this moment in time, but yeah, I think replayability, if there's various options in the game, and there's streams and avenues that you can go down, and but if it's the same thing each and every single time. If it's
Hmm.
just the one and only experience, obviously, I'm gonna say no replayability. And I think this is the opportunity for writers to really shine, to show what they're made of. This is a different
Hmm.
avenue for them to sell themselves. You no longer just have to publish a book, make a great movie or a TV
Yeah,
series.
you
Now
can
you
make
can
a
do this
game.
inside games.
Yeah.
And is it Neil Druckmann, the guy who wrote The Last of Us?
Oh,
He's
sorry,
a
I wouldn't
perfect
know.
example. Yeah, he's a perfect example who somebody who's expanding now. He's going, from games to TV shows.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he
But
did a
then
wonderful
again,
job.
we played Last of Us together. That was a TV show. that was or a movie. Like I kept thinking back, like I was telling you before, I got home like a couple of days later after playing at your place, and I was like, oh, I should. There's this. What's that movie I was watching with the zombies and the girl and
With
the
the
guy and
zombies and
the
the
shooting and the
dystopian future.
dystopian. I need to watch that. Oh, damn it! It's a PlayStation game, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was something I thought about, days after. And I have downloaded it now. I haven't played it yet. The only thing holding me back is having to replay what parts we played together to get to that point where I finished off. I do remember where we finished off, but and I know you finished the game. Are you looking forward to number two?
Oh, yeah, man. Look,
Yeah,
you need to catch up so we
I need to
can
catch up.
definitely jam the game together. I
Yeah.
am. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I heard a spoiler because when I was on the chat the other day waiting for the Microsoft Inside
Yeah.
Xbox, there were all these people just spamming different bits and pieces. Obviously, I'm not going to
Yeah.
mention what they said because I don't
No,
want
no
to.
spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers over here. But I think I saw one thing, and it just really broke my heart.
Oh, don't,
If
don't.
it
I
does
like, I
come up in the
like, no,
game,
no.
then I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, you did spoil it for me. You guys suck."
All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
We don't
this
want to do any more
yeah, The
spoilers.
Ascent.
The scent that looked really good. I think that what do we think? We thought it was going to be Mass Effect, hey, another game, but it's a top-down classic shooter, and it's going to be co-op. So another co-op game, and I think it looks great. And if this comes out before Cyberpunk, which is it possible for it to come out before Cyberpunk?
I don't know, it's got no date, right?
No. When is Xbox Series X actually coming out?
Alright, now you know what? If this is yeah, this is gonna be Xbox Series X exclusive,
Yeah.
which means we're not gonna get it before November this year.
And as Cyberpunk is, I was going to say this is something that could
Mm,
hold me off until Cyberpunk comes out, but I suppose not. Oh, there you go. November
yeah.
is
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it'll release.
November,
Okay.
Maddie said as well, yeah. So we got a long time.
Okay.
We'll
All right.
we'll
Well,
be waiting for this one. Maybe even 2021, this might release in, so
yeah.
early 2021.
Well, it looked good. The video looked good. Really keen, and I really like a game like this. I mean, Diablo was one of my favorite, and taking a book, a leaf out of their page. Sorry, a leaf out of the
Yeah,
book.
leaf out of this tree
Um,
book.
I think something similar in that regard. And I know there's other games that are like this, but I think a cyberpunk themed one that plays top down and very action oriented would be fun. We don't have much time left. Let's get to this one. This one we talked
Oh,
about quite a
medium.
lot. It
Yeah.
was
You know why
interesting.
I'm excited for this?
Why?
Because the composer of music who did Silent Hill is
hmm
the same
hmm
one in this game.
Yes, yes. This is from
Yeah.
the guys from Silent Hill. Yes, I did see
Well,
that.
yeah, yeah. But it's like a wait, who's the company that makes it though? Some sort of a
Bloopers team. It's called
is
Blooper
it?
Team. It
Blooper.
says here,
Yeah, because
new survival blooper team, and then you've got Akira Yamato, who's the composer from Silent Hill.
oh, this happens in Poland,
Yes, that's
exploring
what
an
I said.
abandoned Krakow.
Yeah, I said to you. Remember, we were watching this, and I said,
Yeah,
"That's Polish. That's Polish writing right there."
yeah.
And yeah, Arkadiusz Rajkowski. There it
Oh
is,
my
and
God, this is so cool.
I might play it. I don't. Okay, so first of all, I don't like this because the name of the medium reminds me of a show back, I don't
Yeah.
know, like 10 years ago. There used to be a show called Medium, and it had this
Oh,
blonde woman. Do you remember that show?
no, what was it about?
It was about the she was working as a police, helping police or something, and she was a medium type thing. It was kind of like um, it's just a bit weird, and I just didn't like her. And the whole medium, it just put this weird thing about being all this like sort of fluffy, magical shit. So when I saw this, the medium, I was like, oh, what a terrible name. But obviously, yeah, with the whole Polish thing, it looks really interesting. Now,
Yeah.
the last time I played something like this was that really short demo of the Horror House. It was a demo of what was supposed to be not Silent Hill. There was a. Did you ever hear about that demo?
Of Silent Hill?
It was called
From Day of the
P4 or
Reckoning?
P3 or something, yeah.
Oh,
And it
wait, wait,
was
wait. Are you talking about the game that was it made by Kojima of the people that made
yes,
Silent Hill with
yes,
Norman Reedus in it? Uh, what was it called? It's you can no longer get it, but if you downloaded the demo on your PlayStation,
yes.
you still can have the copy of it. So, yeah, the game no longer exists. Can anyone in chat remind us what that game was? The horror game where you walk through the corridors,
And it
you're
keeps
inside
changing. Like
the
each
house.
door is like
Yeah,
different.
yeah. It's like you're walking through the house and it keeps repeating itself, but it keeps changing.
I think
Um,
if this game is going to be anything like that,
then it's
especially
gonna be a hit.
with, it's going to be a hit. And there's a lot of people who were really disappointed that that game never went ahead. So when it was released, it was like, are they going to do something about it? Or is this just like, here, have this and shut up? I've got a question here from Ray Johnson. Do you think consoles can get PC level graphics since most TV owners are at 4K now? Um, do you want to answer that question?
My perspective is, they will get very close with this next gen, with the hardware that they're running. 12 teraflops, it's like the equivalent of a 2080 Super. 2080 Super, we have a graphics
NVIDIA
card,
card. Yeah.
NVIDIA card, yeah, 2080 Super, released late 2018. It's a very powerful graphics card, so you can expect fantastic visual fidelity, high frame rates. It will be on par. Like, I'm not gonna say it's going to be, the same as PC level graphics, but it's going to be very close. As
And
close as we've ever gotten.
yeah, and just to note, just because the TV is 4K doesn't mean the console outputs 4K. Most of the time, it will get upscaled to that resolution of the TV, and it'll look nice, it'll look crisp, but it's not actually running at 4K. And this is some of the misconceptions that some of the previous, like PS4 and the Xbox, not the S versions or the Pro, had a misconception where they said, "Oh, there's going to be 4K gaming because it can output 4K on the HDMI." That didn't actually mean anything. It didn't mean that you could play 4K games. So what we're
Yeah.
getting now with Pro and the Xbox, what is it, S or
One X.
One X, right? They can output a game at 4K, but it's still not real. It's the checker block effect. I think we talked about this ages ago, where
One X can actually, it's the only console that can, but not
yeah,
for all games, for some games. So it
some
can
games.
get 4K 60 for some games. Yeah.
Yeah, and PlayStation does this thing with checkerboarding, where it kind of halves the image and then still shows it at 4K but stretches out. So yeah, so there you go. So Maddie says Xbox X has been confirmed. Yep, we have seen that. But to
Yeah.
note, it'll still depend on the game that plays on it, and yeah, as
It's
target.
actually
Yeah, that's right.
it's
So
based on the developers. The developers will be the deciding factor here. So it's not because we got the hardware, but what they actually want to do. That's what it comes down to in the end. And
yeah,
because we know that they optimize these things for consoles, like, games are always optimized for consoles first. And
yeah,
unfortunately, the PC master race, we get the we get the handouts,
yeah,
the second sloppy seconds from that. But where I was going with this was
yeah,
that because they're going to optimize these games for these consoles, they are going to do some magnificent stuff with it. They are gonna make it 4K 60 for sure. They're gonna push the fidelity to the max. So please don't be surprised if we do get 4K 30 in some games. I'm talking,
and
single player, story driven.
yeah, and to note, one thing that the consoles do very well is scale up and down on requirements. So there's new technology, especially with this SSD now. They may be able to scale to higher resolutions when they can, and then just drop that to keep a consistent frame rate. So it's going to depend on the developer. Oh, and it says here, Maddie says that Dirt 5 is confirmed to be 120 frames per second at 10, and yeah, you're probably right. It's going to be at 1080p. To note,
Yeah.
not all TVs will be able to display that. Like PC Master Race, right? We spend a lot of money trying to get high refresh rate monitors. There's two things you need to care about monitors and TVs. There's a latency between what comes into the TV and what is displayed versus what you're actually doing on the controller, right? So
Input.
monitors. Input lag, that's right. So monitors on gaming machines or actually any machine are known to have very low input lag. So when you move your mouse around, you can kind of see it, it doesn't drag. It doesn't feel like it's going through water. The other thing is the gray to gray. So how fast a pixel can move from, and why it's measured in gray to gray. I'm not going to go into because that's going to take another hour. But when from the pixel, because pixels never really just gray or never black or white, but in any case, when it moves from and changes color. So when you drag something across the screen, how quickly those pixels change, so it doesn't leave this sort of ghosting purple effect. Now, most monitors have something called an overdrive, where the overdrive means that the pixels get given a very high voltage and they move a lot quicker. But it also changes the way they look. Anyway, so with TVs, they say, oh, we're, fast refresh rate, blah, blah, like 200 hertz refresh rate. That doesn't matter if your input lag is really high. And then that doesn't matter if your pixels move slowly. So there's going to be a lot of change in the, they can be, yes, Maddie, they can be, but right now, most manufacturers, most TVs that are OLED and with very high response rate are in like 3,000 and up dollars range. Like I'm talking about here, 4K TV. The one you have, right, is what, 120?
Oh yes, the TV that I have, and a bit of a
Yeah.
recommendation for you guys out there as well, as the Samsung Q models are great because they do get 120 FPS, 1440p, I think a lot of them are, but with HDMI 2.1 just around the bend being implemented on a lot of the
Yeah.
modern TVs, you will get 120 FPS, 4K,
That's
and
right. So
that's
they had to
native.
bump down because that TV is 4K, right? They had to bump. You have to bump that down to get the higher refresh rates because
Yeah.
the HDMI standard can't actually move all that information across to the TV at that rate at those high bandwidths. So that TV can definitely do it, but if you plug this in to your standard 4K TV that you got, a couple of years ago, unfortunately, most of the time you won't be able to take advantage of this 120 hertz refresh rate, and of course, 4K beautiful stuff like HDR. That's another thing that are going to be added to games. HDR is obviously a big thing. A lot of TVs aren't really qualified to show HDR. Like there's so many different versions of HDR. I recently did a video on that. That's why I'm sort of yammering on about it, but not all TVs are made the same, and not all HDRs are the same. And there's such a variation in TVs now that I think a lot of people get a little bit shocked when they plug in their latest Xbox X or hello doggy, and or PlayStation 5 that they won't hit those numbers. Because with monitors and computers, we've been specializing towards pushing, those frame rates, those response rates, those colors. But we'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited because the demand caused by consoles will then create more and more TVs and more cheaper TVs because the demand's going to be higher. There's going to be a lot more people competing to sell to you, and we're going to get a lot more gaming monitors. Unlike the Nvidia BFG that we saw a little while back. That's that's going to be probably more popular. I think LG has another one that's similar to it. So
Yeah, they're
um,
doing an OLED version of that for sure, yeah. That's
yeah.
right, like 55-inch version that will have 120 FPS. Mm,
That's right. Look, we're going to push over time. It's Saturday and we started early, so let's keep going.
alright.
Vampire the
Yeah.
Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. What do you think?
Well, look, this is the one that I mentioned the other night when we were streaming live then, that this is a surprising sequel
Hmm.
because the previous game came out, like, 15 years ago or so. So, surprised that it's even actually come out. There must have been a huge following, a big fan base. Let's have a look. Bloodlines 1, when
Yeah, I'm looking that up now.
16 years ago. Okay, yeah,
2004. Yeah.
2004 it was released. So this is great to see. The trailer that we saw was impressive.
Hmm.
It looked fun. It looked pretty wild. And what's cool about the original game is that there's a lot of decision making, a lot of choices that were being made. And you know what? I actually think that CD Projekt Red,
Hmm.
who was making The Witcher, they got a little bit of inspiration from this.
You think?
Because
Okay.
yes, because I think a lot of the side quests and things that you can do in this game, the decisions that you make were really changed the outcomes, really changed the relationships, and each of those missions were exciting, was really
Yeah.
cool, was unique as well as the main storyline. So I think we're in for a treat. Like I want to say these
Okay.
guys are really going to put in They're gonna put in the love
The
into the game,
love.
the love, but the issue might be funding. You know, I
What?
don't know how much money they got to produce this game, and I say
Oh,
the issue
okay.
may be in the income as well, because how much money will they have for marketing and publicity? So
Right.
that's gonna be one of those, you know, I wish you
Mm.
all the best, guys, but do you have the financial backing?
All right. Outriders. The space fighting one? This is the space fighting one, is it? No, no, this is not the space fighting one. It's an RPG.
Did we see
This
that
is a
one?
this is the top one. Did we? Yeah. The
What's this game?
girl looks familiar.
Oh, is this
Outrider.
the one where we saw last E3? So 2019, we just saw a movie trailer of this game. It's based on some sort of
Oh,
like a Marvel thing as well.
right. Okay. Cross-platform RPG shooter designed for co-op play, an exciting blend of genres. I think this is going to try and compete with Destiny. That's probably what it looks like.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a cross-platform RPG, you don't go cross-platform unless you've got something for everyone, you know. And
Oh, this is
obviously,
from People Can Fly. Polish company, represent.
what else had they made? What
They
else
make
did
Painkiller. People Can
Painkiller?
Fly.
Yes. Okay. Right. That was
Yes,
good.
the Painkiller games. And this is also Square Enix. So it's
Oh, together with People Can Fly.
together with one of the biggest Japanese gaming developers out
Yeah.
there, the
Right.
guy who made all the Final Fantasies. So,
Did you
and
like
here,
the
oh,
latest? Have you? Sorry, is it out yet? Or because I know we played the demo, but it's out right now.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
latest.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII Remake. Finished
Have you?
it,
Oh, you've already
loved it.
finished it.
So good.
Oh,
I smashed it out, man. I
all
smashed
right. Did
that.
you buy it on disc?
I did.
All right,
I
I'm gonna
did.
grab it to you next time I'm at your
Yeah, man.
place.
Grab it, jam. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good. The
Um.
expectations were high, and I think like that game screamed
Yeah.
money, man.
Did it?
It was
Oh shit.
you could just tell they
Yeah.
poured money into that game. It's beautiful, beautiful.
We'll skip Warzone because it's already out. FIFA 21. We'll move on from that one. I want to get to this is a list of what's coming out for Series X, isn't it? This is not necessarily what was
Yeah.
announced yesterday. So what was there was one game that I wanted to talk about, and
Corvus,
there's,
wasn't it?
sorry,
Corvus was one of them.
Corvus. Yes, that's it. And Chorus. I think it's spelled CH Orvis, Corvus or something like that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rise is one. That's
I
the
won't
one.
play the video,
Didn't
but
see much about this game. We just saw a lady flying with a spaceship. Yeah, it's got like the it looks like Mass Effect meets Control. It's like if they had a baby.
yeah, that's true.
But
But I think it looks exciting because I really miss having a game that's a space shooter. That's been something I've been missing for a long time. I think I never got into some of the other ones that were on Steam. I'm thinking of which one am I thinking of on Steam? Anyway, doesn't matter. I technically speaking, I really like space games, but I just never got into the very complex ones. Like I thought Eve was exciting. I tried playing Eve Online and
was
it's
it boring as hell?
so hard to sorry,
Was it boring as hell?
it was not only it was boring as hell, it was really hard to get into. I just didn't like it at all. You know what, we'll probably have to cut it there because we've got two more topics actually, but one of them is Tom Cruise is going to do a movie shot entirely in space, and NASA has confirmed this. I think this is quite hilarious.
Oh
Out
God,
of
tell
all
me
the
about this, Patrick. Tell me more.
Well, out of all the actors out there, I think Tom Cruise is crazy enough to do it, and he loves doing his own stunts. So if this is a way for him to have a free ride, not a free ride, but a paid ride into space to make a movie, and I think making a space movie that's shot in space is a great marketing spiel, and I think it'll just be interesting. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be quite fun, and maybe it'll inspire people to hopefully explore space. I think it says something like that. We need popular media to inspire new generation of engineers and scientists. Yeah, I think this is a big marketing event, but nonetheless, I like Tom Cruise, even though he's a bit cuckoo in the head. But this is what I guess makes him great.
Yeah, the
um,
last movie, Mission Impossible Fallout.
Fallout,
I
yeah.
was so surprised how good that movie was. I felt like the Mission Impossible series just fell off the rails and into a ditch somewhere, but that movie was actually good.
Yeah, I liked it, and I liked Henry Cavill in that. That was really good
Yeah,
fun.
Henry Cavill was
Um,
kick-ass.
yeah, he was great. Um, but we all know why we love Henry Cavill, and not because of his great body, but because of his long, luscious white hair in The Witcher. That
Yeah,
that was good. And
so
then last one, I guess we're rushing through these just to sort of end the show before the 1 hour 20 minute mark. Sony's PlayStation VR, they've released some patents that are sort of showing, and this is a summary, that they're going to have a VR sickness reduction system that will hopefully reduce. A lot of people get sick. Apparently, it's about 30% of people who even watch 3D TV, they get sick, and that includes also playing, things like VR or HTC Vive or Oculus and all that. So a lot of people get sick. Recently, I played Alex on VR. It was probably one of the only games that I saw that they have really tried to make it look and work in a way that doesn't make you sick. And I think they've really succeeded, because even I played for like 6 hours, and sometimes I feel a little bit sick. I managed to play nearly 8 hours. Well, not 8 hours, not in one sitting, but hours, multiple hours. And yeah, I didn't feel sick at all. I would take it off and not feel like I've been, I don't know, swimming in a vat of jelly. You know how you come off a roller coaster sometimes.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, you feel like your body's still moving, but you're standing still.
Yeah, that's right. And that's it. That's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I really appreciate everybody that had jumped on and had a chat with us. Really great. Thanks, Maddie. I'll check out Ghost Runner. We'll have a look at that this week, maybe even tonight. See what it is. It's a demo. It's free. That's always good. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then obviously tap that like button. And if you would like to see more, subscribe to this channel. But if you'd like to see some gaming stuff, subscribe to
Oh
Game with
no,
Casper.
Oz. Oz
Oh,
missed the
Osborne.
one. Sorry,
Hey, mate,
brother.
missed it. Sorry, bro. But you can rewatch it if you so wish. Casper, where can we find you and your games?
Oh, yes. So you can find me on Game with Casper. That's on YouTube. I am also on Twitch, and I will most likely be streaming tonight, be playing some Nier Automata 2017 vintage game for probably for most gamers, but I'm still new to that. So yeah, you can catch me there. You can also catch me at on Twitter, Game with Casper. Would love to hear what you guys want to see in the gaming community, what you guys are excited for, what you want to see me jam, what kind of games you want to jam together. Um, and um, and Sony, if you're watching, what the hell are you doing? Where are you? We want to know, and we want to see the
Hear me.
PlayStation 5.
Look, I think we'll have to do a live stream on when that event goes live, because I think that'll be quite exciting. And PS5. I mean, come on, we've seen nothing. We've seen the controller, right? That's what we've seen.
Yep.
And look, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time at exactly the same time, hopefully. And we won't hopefully have any technical issues, but you never know. This is fun. It's always fun to have technical issues. Thanks for watching. And yeah, Saturday, 6 p.m. Western Standard Time, and 7, 8 p.m. on the East Coast of Australia. Bye.
Nice.
Bye.
See ya, guys. Thanks
See
for
you.
watching.
Thanks. Bye. And stop.